life before you really became famous on YouTube or whatever, Delphi forums, marriage, a couple other things you did for the government, things you did for the army, and
Mhm.
your parents and things. Um, but I want to kind of throw into tonight, and I kind of alluded to it in the last interview that we're kind of going to talk about tonight.
Mhm.
Um, so when did you start doing videos or whatever? When did that happen? What year did that?
I started doing videos in earnest. Let's see, what was it? My very first video was called Hello World, and I think that was posted to YouTube in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was either 2005 or 2006. I think it was 2005,
Mm-hmm.
if I recall correctly.
Right. Okay. Well, so was that just like was it a video for what was the video about? Do you remember what it was about? Do you remember if it was, what was the topic or anything? Was it the fact?
It was actually I had joined a group called Covert Conservatives,
Mm-hmm.
and the I was actually talking to them in the video, telling them that I was out here and that I was no longer in the closet because, or no longer covert because I was live on camera, and I was basically saying hello world. You know, so I was no longer a covert conservative. I was going to go out and tell the whole world, like I had always done prior to the internet. And so, and basically, it was a very short video, as I recall, too. It was only like a few minutes long, I think.
Right. Right. Okay.
But I basically gave kudos to the covert conservatives and said hello world and showed my ugly mug for the first time, and of course the camera quality the camera quality left a lot to be desired, because at the time I had probably the cheapest webcam on in the world, I would imagine. It was mostly a grainy mess, but
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, so you ended up doing all that, um, and you started doing the YouTube videos and everything. What were you doing, more YouTube videos, or were you doing more blog TV videos?
uh, at first I was doing YouTube videos left, right, and center on every topic that passed under my nose. I did a YouTube video on, because back then the YouTube video, the most you was allowed was 10 minutes. And so I would do a 10-minute video on literally every newspaper article I could get my hands on, and give my opinion on it. And that's what I did. And my listing under YouTube was reporter. So I
Right.
mean, I was being a reporter and reporting on news, particularly if the news was something either scandalous or something that the mainstream media did not want to cover for whatever reason.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, when did you really like start getting involved in the whole UFO kind of secret society, all that kind of stuff? When did that really start?
Oh Lord, that happened a long, long time ago, dude.
Right.
So, my father was a Knights Templar and my mother was Eastern Star.
Mm.
And my dad had one of the rings with the big G on it with the compass and whatever. And I asked him one day, I said, Dad, what's that G mean on your ring there? And I guess I wasn't, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years old maybe. And I'm like, Dad, what's that big G on there? And he didn't want to elaborate. So, being the enterprising gent that I was, I got up off my lazy ass and actually physically went to a library Started pulling down books to find out what that G on that ring meant. And as time wore on, I did more and more studying. Every chance I got, I'd go to the library and pull down books and go through Microfiche and go through the card catalog. Anybody remember the card catalog?
Oh yeah.
And so literally spend in some cases several days just trying to figure out what it was all about, and to tell you the truth, a lot of what I read really disturbed me, because particularly the upper levels of Freemasonry are not exactly God-fearing men,
Right.
And there's a lot of weird shit going on, all kinds of weird initiations and secret societies and secret handshakes and all this other stuff, and as I'm one to remember, Ben Franklin said, that which is done in the light of day is liberty, and that which is done in secret is tyranny.
Right.
And he's absolutely right about that, I'm beginning to find out. But yeah, I got involved in this whole thing because my parents were involved up to their eyebrows in it. My dad actually got a newsletter from the Knights Templar. I think it was like bi-monthly,
right.
Twice a month. Twice a month he'd get an actual newsletter from the Knights Templar, and he was a member in good standing. And my mom was Eastern Star, which is female version of Freemasonry, and she had that big multicolored star around her neck every now and then. And, so yeah, I'm literally up to my eyebrows in it, and went to the library and started doing some research on it.
Okay. Well, so I'm gonna get into the okay. The question I really have, I think what a lot of us want to know is when did this whole thing with the you're making the YouTube videos and everything like that, and I told you I wanted to kind of get into the controversial subjects tonight. So really, where did the whole thing with this video come down at? How did that all went down, this Kelly video thing?
The Kelly video. All right. I was in a Skype call with a group of people, and one of the individuals in the Skype call was named, his name on Skype was, and on YouTube for that matter, was called Mr. Anonymous Dick. That was his nickname, both on Skype and on YouTube. And I guess I must have pissed him off or something. And so he decides he's going to play a little trick on me, so he thinks. And he takes an old account that his wife had set up long ago on Blog TV. And he decides to come into my room in that account. And I mean, just the fact that he poses as a woman on the internet should be all you need to know just exactly what the mentality of this individual is. But anyway, he comes into the room posing as a female who is in distress and who's seeking asylum out of her state because she fears for her life, etc., etc. And and I mean, I have helped people in the past get out of situations like that. I mean, and I'm pretty damn good at it, if I do say so myself.
Right.
And so when somebody comes to me that's in distress, I'm going to do everything in my level power to get them out of it. And that's how the conversation started. Now, obviously, as we found out, it didn't end that way. It ended up with me allegedly wanting nude pics of a minor, and her age kept changing like the damn seasons.
Right.
But see, initially, and Blog TV has verified this, initially, Kelly, quote unquote, was a 31-year-old female.
Okay. Yeah.
But see, and the conversations that I had with Kelly spanned over a 5-day period.
Right.
But see, the trolls don't want to tell you about the other 4 days. They just want to tell you about that last day.
Right.
But the original premise was that she was a 31-year-old female who was in distress, and she needed to relocate to another area because she feared for her life. Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And but like I said, that 5th day,
Mm-hmm.
everything got turned on its ear. She started changing her age. She started out at 31, then she was 28, then she was 25, then she is 19, then she is 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she and when and see, the reason he went to 17 is because he thought 18 was the legal minimum in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
But when he found out that 16 was the legal age in Kentucky, then he come back and changed his age again and said that Kelly was 13 or 14, I think, something like that. And so he kept changing the age, and when you're in a conversation with somebody, and they change their age like about 5 or 6 times, anybody with a brain cell of a flea is going to figure out that something funny's going on, right?
Right.
So I decided, well, I'll play along with this shit, and see who this is.
Right.
But then it started turning ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Because then she started claiming she's a minor and that she's wanting to you want my new pics, don't you? And you need my new, and I'm like, no, all I need from you is your ID. That's all I need from you. And I gave her my email so that she could send me a copy of her ID. And so what the trolls done is they took that where I gave my email, and then they put nude pics on there, and then put my email under it to make it look like I'm soliciting for nude pics. Luckily for me, Blog TV reviewed the unedited chat logs, and basically told the trolls they were full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good thing.
Right.
But that's the Kelly video in a nutshell.
Right.
It was a 30-something-year-old bearded man posing as a young girl, which, by the way, is a felony if you're not law enforcement, I might add.
Right.
And so that's the thing with the Kelly video.
Right. Well, when did you really first start going, something's amiss here, something's not right?
When they started changing their age.
Yeah.
When they started changing their age, man. People don't change their age in mid-conversation. Hang on just a second.
Okay, no problem.
Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So you're doing the whole thing of you're dealing with the shit that's going on with the Kelly video and everything like that, and you're dealing with the fact that she's changing her age as it goes along, and you start suspecting stuff. So how did you actually find out that it was this guy, Mr. Anonymous?
He admitted to it.
I'm sorry?
To it. He came into my Blog TV show and admitted to it.
Admitted to it, huh?
Absolutely, admitted to it.
Ballsy.
Yep, he actually admitted to it. In fact, there's a video out there with him live on my co-host on Blog TV, admitting to the whole damn thing. So yeah.
What was the reasoning? Not that there is a good reason or anything like that, but what was the reason he gave for doing that?
Try and get me in trouble. I mean, that's just that simple. Tried to get me in trouble. Didn't like me. Didn't like my views on things. Wanted to get me in trouble. Period. End of story.
Huh. Well, that's kind of weird that he would just pick you at random to do something like that.
He didn't pick me at random. He didn't like my views. He didn't like
your views about what
on my YouTube videos. He didn't like what YouTube.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, because, and I know this may be a tender subject for you, and the mouse is sitting there right there. So, the trolls always bring up this whole thing about, who called CPS on you. I mean, you have her come up from Alabama and everything or whatever. The two of you meet online or wherever you meet, and who you meet, and you know she comes up here to live, comes up there to live with you. You two later on get married. You have some children. What happened with that whole situation? What did happen to that whole deal? How did CPS become involved anyway in your lives and everything? I know the trolls call it that you say, and I've seen some videos where they admit that they called CPS and everything like that. So
You're not well. I mean, this sounds like a horror movie gone bad. I mean, it really does.
okay.
But these trolls on YouTube actually convinced a doctor, a female doctor, to leave her practice in Tennessee and come up to Kentucky and actually get into the nearest city so that she would be in line to deal with my children. And I mean, this is you talk about ballsy. This is ballsy right here. Literally risk her doctor's license to come up here and try to get my kids taken away from me. See, if it hadn't have been for this doctor coming up here, who, by the way, admitted that she watched my videos and that she was one of my haters.
Okay.
Admitted this live in front of witnesses. You know, but to risk her doctor's license to come up here and slander me and saying that there was piss and shit in my kid's hair when there was not. Because I have witnesses from McDonald's, I have witnesses from IGA, and I have witnesses from Walmart that all said no, there wasn't nothing in the kid's hair.
Right.
Not a thing. Okay. So she literally perjured herself in a court of law to try and get my kids taken away from me because she did not like, by her own admission, she did not like my opinions on YouTube about certain topics.
What topic? Just the topics about aliens or
extraterrestrials, corrupt government, the whole nine yards.
Right. Well, I guess my question is, are you not as free, what we call free American? Do you not think that you're entitled to have your free speech, or is that what we think? Some of the people out there think that you're not entitled to have your free.
Apparently they don't. Apparently they don't. You know, apparently their hate videos are free speech, but my videos talking about conspiracies and stuff aren't. I mean, that's apparently the way they believe. Because if they didn't believe that way, they wouldn't do what they do, right?
Right. I've often asked myself in this situation. I know I've you know, and to be honest with you, just full disclosure for the audience here, I at one time, you know, stumbled upon Vaughn. That's how I got to know Vaughn's videos, and I stumbled across one of his videos. I think it was you titled the video something about the NWO and everything. And I actually thought, Vaughn, by the way, I've always been kind of interested in aliens and conspiracy theories and everything like that, kind of stuff. I actually thought this was a video about the NWO, the New World Order, like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was about that NWO. You know, I thought, well, you know, he's doing a fucking wrestling report or whatever. And then I was like, oh, okay, that NWO, that not okay, not the NWO Black and White, not the NWO Wolfpack. He's doing about the New World Order, the actual running the government and everything like that.
Right, exactly.
But when did, you know, so you have this doctor come up to around Manchester or whatever, to up in your state to do her practice or whatever, but when does it become a situation where they're coming to take your kids, and why, and what was their their I guess what was the final thing where they said, you know, we're taking your kids, and what justifiable reason did he use?
Actually, CPS can take your kids for any reason they want.
Okay.
In fact, the way it works, see, CPS is the only government agency that actually works in reverse.
Okay.
See, most governmental agencies, there has to be valid, legitimate reasons in order to seize a hold of you and take you into court, etc., etc. But with CPS, it's the exact opposite. With CPS, they come and take your kids, and then you got to prove in a court of law that you're innocent to get your kids back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the exact opposite, you know. And you know, just any trumped up charge they want. I mean, dirty floors, you know, a dirty spoon was left on the table or something. I mean, just crazy, any old thing they want to dream up. And then they take the kids, and then you got to go to court to get your kids back. That's how it works. Now, I can't speak for other states, but that's how it works down here in my little neck of the woods. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, once CPS got their toe in the door, you know, it was hard to get them out of there, because the trolls on YouTube would call them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, practically. And, you know, oh, Von's kids is in danger. You got to come quick. And see, CPS has to, you know, according to CPS's own people, they have to respond to every call, no matter how stupid, no matter how crazy it is. They have to respond to every call. So now I had people calling from Switzerland. I had people calling from the Netherlands. I had people calling from Scotland. I had people calling from literally all over the world, calling CPS, because they put CPS's number up for anybody to call. And, you know, and so they, you know, just stupid things, you know. Von's holding his baby upside down on camera and other stupid shit like that. Mm-hmm. And so they'd send CPS out here with the police to take my kids, and I'd have to go to court to get my damn kids back. And see, the sad part about this whole mess is that while CPS was dealing with me and my wife and my kids, 18 babies died in the state of Kentucky, because CPS workers, instead of going to children that really were in danger, they were all coming out here to my house. And so as a result, 18 children died. And a senator, a state senator, got involved. And needless to say, all the bullshit with CPS come to a screeching halt after that. Because the senator's like, where are all my CPS workers? And I said, ma'am, I'm looking at them. And she's like, what? I said, that's right. They're all in my backyard with a whole bunch of police. And she's like, what? And so, you know, to make a long story short, CPS ain't coming back out here no more. Not unless they want to violate that senator. And I don't think they want to do that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, so yeah, it got to be a mess. And like I said, 18 babies lost their lives because of a bunch of assholes on YouTube. Because of a bunch of assholes on YouTube, 18 children are dead in the state of Kentucky that would have been if the CPS workers had been going to people that really were in danger, children that really were in danger. Mm-hmm. And so that, as far as I'm concerned, that's unforgivable. There is no way they can sugarcoat it. There's no way they're going to get out of it. There's no way they're going to be able to redeem themselves. That blood is on their hands, and I hope they burn in a special kind of hell for it for the rest of all eternity, because that's what they deserve. Hell, they deserve worse than that, really. Right. I don't know if there's anything worse than that.
Well, well, let me ask you, I mean, playing devil's advocate and everything, was there any kind of situation that they found when they came there?
No, not really. The most they could find is that the house was cluttered, which, you know, if you got kids, I mean, ask anybody that's got kids, the house is going to be cluttered at any given moment of the day, you know.
Right.
It's not like, you know, it's not like we weren't trying to keep the house squared away. It's just that when you got kids, you're going to have stuff. I mean, one time they come out on Christmas Eve and took my children because there was Christmas boxes in the floor. Okay, and the judge, even the judge wasn't happy about that one.
Right.
Even the judge was not happy about that one.
Well, did they? You said that they came out there and they grabbed you up and everything. And so, what did they say to you when they came out there? Did they say, you know, we're here because you're a pitiful father or whatever like that.
What they say all the time. We got a call. We got to take the kids, and we'll see you in court. What they say all the time.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, this is Christmas time, you know, so we really don't take the kids.
Doesn't matter. Like I said, they have to respond. They have to respond to every call, no matter how stupid it is.
Uh-huh.
They have to. Apparently, it must be some law of theirs or something. But they got to respond to every call, no matter how stupid. And so, yeah, they literally took my kids because there were Christmas boxes in the floor.
Well, that makes sense.
And when it, of course, when it got to trial, obviously the judge was not happy. You know, he was not happy about that.
Right. Well, that's insane that they actually came out there and.
Yes, on Christmas Eve. That's right, and took my kids. That's right, they sure did.
Okay. Well, and then let me ask you this: where is the whole thing about? What was the final? I guess the final thing about it. What was the final solution on this whole thing?
The final salute. Oh, the trolls had threatened to start calling CPS out to my house every day.
Okay.
Literally calling CPS out to my house every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called that senator back.
Mm-hmm.
The senator that wanted to know where all of our CPS workers was.
Mm-hmm.
I called her back,
mm-hmm.
and I said, "Ma'am, something's got to be done. These assholes on YouTube are threatening to call CPS out to my house literally every single day." And she's like, "Yeah," and I played her the video
mm-hmm.
where they were talking about it on YouTube. And she's like, "Oh my goodness." And I said, "Ma'am, something needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. I cannot live my life with CPS coming out to my goddamn house every day. I mean, that's insanity."
Yeah.
And the CPS we got to come for every call, And I told the senator that too. I told him what they said. I told him, said CPS told me flat to my face that they have to come on every call, no matter how stupid it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "I will take care of this for you, Mr. VonHelton." And as far as I know, she has taken care of it.
Right.
Because CPS ain't been back since.
But you said that I know that you said something about the fact that it caused some damage to your kids and everything. What did it?
Yes, there is circumstantial evidence to suggest that my children were not exactly treated very nice under foster care while these 5 court cases were being played out.
Oh, okay. Well, let me back up real quick. Why were there 5?
There were 5 court cases because the trolls kept calling. The trolls called them out here to my house.
There were 5 court cases involving you and your children.
Yes.
You and your children. Well, that's insane. There seemed like it would just be one.
Well, exactly. There should have just been one. But
right.
See, like I said, it's all convoluted down here. CPS comes, takes your kids, then you got to go to court and prove that you're innocent to get them back.
Right. Okay.
See, so it works in the opposite of every other government agency.
Mm-hmm.
Any other government agency, it would have never seen the light of day. Because you weigh the facts before hauling everybody into court.
Right.
But the judge. See, here's the thing. The judge even put his foot down on this matter, particularly when he found out that one of the workers wasn't even licensed to work in the state of Kentucky. And he's like, and he stated publicly, he said, if I had more information on this matter, it would have never went to trial in the first place.
Right.
It would have never went to trial. But he, I guess, didn't realize just how stupid this whole thing really was.
Yeah.
And so, of course now everybody down here knows who all the trolls on YouTube are.
Uh-huh.
and so does the judges and district attorney. Everybody down here, even the FBI and CIA down here, they
Right.
all know who the trolls on YouTube are. They all know about their videos, etc., etc.
Well, you said that your kids were what were they abused? How were they abused? Can you even talk about that? Do you know what they were abused? How they were treated?
Well, obviously, I wasn't there to witness it, but
Right.
when I got my kids back,
Mhm.
they would wake up in the middle of the night, just screaming bloody murder,
Mhm.
like somebody tried to kill them.
Mhm.
I mean, loud, you know. I
Mhm.
mean, enough to shake the windows.
Right.
and so you know, I would have to, you know, me and the wife would have to take turns getting up and consoling them in the
Right.
middle of the night.
Right.
And then one day, my boy had food all over his face,
Right.
and I grabbed a washcloth and was going to wipe his face off because he had food on his face.
Right.
When I put that washcloth on his face, he flailed about with his arms like somebody who was being suffocated with a pillow.
Wow.
That was the exact actions. That was the exact actions that he did. Was like somebody being suffocated by a pillow. And I turned to my wife and I said, there's no way in hell that this infant could know that unless he experienced it firsthand.
Right. Right.
There's no way.
Right.
And the foster parents themselves admitted publicly, openly, in front of witnesses, that they did in fact leave the children unattended with their daughter and her boyfriend.
It was her daughter. It was her niece.
Their niece. Okay, left the children unattended with their niece and her boyfriend. Okay, and they stated that publicly in front of witnesses.
Huh.
So, you know, obviously something occurred. I do not know what, but you know, I can make some pretty good assumptions. You know.
Right. Right. Well, and I want to move on from there. You got the kids back and everything, of course. Now you've got the kids and everything like
Right.
that. How has this affected them since they were gone and then they came back?
Well, the two girls. Well, the eldest girl is faring very well.
Mhm.
She's, you know, she's pretty much. I'm hoping that she's pretty much over it.
Mhm.
But the twins, the boy and the girl, particularly the boy, still have lasting remnants of it.
Mhm.
The boy will still, every once in a blue moon, start screaming in the middle of the night. Yeah, hence the reason why I have to be up during the middle of the night, or my wife does, one or the other.
Right.
And now the youngest girl seems to be starting to come out of it, hopefully.
Mhm.
She appears like it anyway, and so that's good. She hasn't had night terrors in quite a while,
Mhm.
so I'm hoping that you know, she's snapping out of it, because she's talking and walking and you know, is happy and bubbly and whatnot.
Mhm.
The boy, however, is not talking. All he makes is guttural noises or screaming
He
noises.
talked a little bit.
He can say a word every now and then, or he makes a noise that kind of sounds like a word.
Mhm.
But there's no question that he is way behind his sibling sister.
Right.
Way behind.
Right.
And it's entirely possible that he may have suffered irreparable damage as a result of this whole thing.
Right. Well, and I think we talked to once in a hangout before. You may think you got autism because of this, or
Possible autism. You know, we don't know at this point. I mean, it could be anything. You know,
Right.
we're basically we're you know, like it or not, we're basically on a wait and see basis at this point.
Mhm.
You know, but you know, we've had him. I mean, he's been looked at by numerous doctors and
Mhm.
nurses, and
Right.
you know, we're basically we're going to see how he does in the next year or so. If he snaps out of it within the next year or so, then everything's cool.
Mhm.
But if he's 3 years old
Mhm.
and he's still acting like he is now, well, you know, then it's pretty much a given that he's got a problem. And then
Right.
we're gonna and then we're gonna seek out some experts to, you know, try and get him taken care of.
Right. Right.
Um, you know, but we're on a wait and see at this point. We're gonna wait until he's 3, and
Right.
if he's still way behind,
Mhm.
um, like he is now, then
Mhm.
then you know, then that's when we're going to call in the experts and have a nice little powwow with some experts to see what's going on and what our options are.
Right. 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 Well, and I'll ask this. Do you, I, I asked this for the question of, um, at that point, will you find out maybe what happened to him? Maybe they will find out what kind of treatment he was under and everything when he was, maybe something happened to him, like you said, when he was with the foster children, that foster home or whatever. Maybe you'll find out then about what caused him to do that way. Maybe.
None of that will ever come to light today. I
Right.
don't reckon.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt any of that would ever come to light today. It would be nice if it would, but
Mhm.
I seriously doubt it will.
Okay. Well, I'll ask you about you had a computer problem here. Uh, I mean, you run a computer business out of your home. So for all the people out there that need a custom computer, contact Mr. VonHelton there. He'll help you out and he'll hook you up. So you were telling me about a computer situation that happened. Maybe well, how long ago did this computer situation happen with a YouTuber trying to basically uh, pull a fast one on
Yeah, basically what it was, you know, like you said, I build custom computers and then I repair computers as well. PCs, that is, not
you?
Macs.
Mm.
And I don't do laptops either, but I may start doing them later on. But yeah, I build and repair PCs. And the trolls on YouTube caught wind of the fact that that was my line of work.
Mm-hmm.
And so what one of them done was he found somebody here in the States because he was across the pond. He was in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, he's in the Netherlands. You know, you never know with a troll because they're habitual liars.
Right.
But he was in the Netherlands, claimed to be. And what he done was he found somebody here in the States that would be willing to plunk down almost $2,000 for a computer. And I guess their little scheme is that you know, they would then try to take me to court and say that I was putting used parts in the computer and that the computer smelled and all this other gobbledygook.
Right. Right. Right.
And luckily for me, though, I actually and I guess it must have been fate, but something told me, said, you know, make a video of you building this computer.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you get that message in your gut, you know, you get a gut feeling to do something. Make a video of you putting this computer together.
Right.
And so I did. In fact, I made a video of me opening up the box as I got it and, you know, pointing out all the parts and then me putting all the parts in it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new. All brand new. The case is brand new. Monitors are really nice monitors, all brand new. Every part brand spanking new. And, you know, but some, you know, I had a feeling in my gut. Let's put it that way. I had a feeling in my gut, you know, make a video about me putting, getting those parts and putting the computer together. Well, as it turns out, that was their plan, though. He made 2 YouTube videos about it, 1600 problems they were called, where he claims that that where she and him both claim that I was going to try and put used parts in the computer, and that the computer had a foul odor, and that it wasn't right, and all this other stuff, and that. It was a ploy to try and destroy my business. They wanted to hurt me in the wallet, and luckily they did not succeed. But that's not the point. The point is that you would have to really hate somebody a lot to try and destroy their business, their way of life. Particularly when you know that man's got 3 little kids to feed. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Trying to hurt my source of income, and me with kids to feed. But there's some really sick, twisted people out there, evil people out there that'll do anything and everything they can to try to destroy somebody.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
Huh. Well, I wonder why that is. Why the and I've seen you talk about it. We've talked about it before in some of our hangouts. And why, there's 11,000, used to be 17,000, but why is there so much hate out there? That you actually generate that much hate. What do you think it is?
They're New World Order lackeys.
Mm-hmm.
They're either New World Order lackeys who are getting paid by the government, or they're New World Order lackeys because they're too stupid to realize they're New World Order lackeys. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Well, let's just say, let me throw this out there. What if they're not? What if they're not New World Order lackeys
Well, if they're not, then they're clinically and physically and mentally insane, and they need to be admitted to into a nice little rubber room with no windows. Because those are the only 2 options I can come up with. They're either a New World Order puppet, or they're crazier than a mud fence.
Mm.
All right. That's the only 2 things I can come up with. I can't come up with nothing else.
Right. Okay.
And now, like I said, some of them are probably doing it because they're getting paid to. Still, others are doing it because they're just hanging on the coattails of the other people. But it doesn't matter. They're all tools of the New World Order because they're doing what the New World Order wants them to do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have a couple more questions for you, and a couple more topics real quick before we end here. We're going to run over a little bit, probably about 105. We'll put stuff with thing.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, you had a problem with a gentleman in Canada and everything. So I went back and looked at his video titles and everything, and he talks about you constantly about you. I haven't seen a video for a while now from him about you and everything like that. But I think you know who I'm talking about. What is the deal with him?
Which one? I mean, I got tons. Secular opinion?
Yes.
Secular opinion. Secular opinion allegedly lives in Canada.
Okay.
And I do not know this man from Adam. I've never done anything to this man.
Mm-hmm.
I've never interacted with him, of course, until he started making hate videos about me, obviously. But I've never interacted with this person. Never made a hate video about this person.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know him from Adam. Never harmed him physically, financially, emotionally, or spiritually. So, why is he doing what he's doing? I guess because he's either A, getting paid, or B, he's loonier than a fucking fruitcake. Those are, like I said, those are the only 2 possibilities.
Right. Well, and then I would ask you this, and if a person comes out and he says that they're normal, let's just say that they're normal, and I think we all have our own little quirks and everything.
Right.
But there are just those people out there that come out and they go, that VonHelton, he's crazier than a pet coon and a goddamn $10. And what do you say to those people that think you're out of your mind, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you know you've lost all sense of reality? What do you think? What do you say to those people?
Repeat that question again.
Okay, the question is, what do you think about the people that are out there? I mean, because they're out there, your trolls, your haters, your naysayers, as you say. They're out there that say, they come out to you and say, VonHelton, you're just fucking crazy. You're shit, batshit crazy. You don't know what the hell's going on. You've lost your mind. What do you say to those people?
I'd say, well, let's see. They said I was crazy when I said that the Bilderberg group was real. But then Bill Clinton got up on stage and said, yeah, I attended the Bilderberg meeting. So I wasn't crazy about that. And then I told them that Helium 1957 was going to slam into the sun.
Mm-hmm.
They all said I was crazy about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Helium 1957 slammed into the sun and made the sky orange at 12 o'clock midnight over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't crazy about that.
Well,
And more recently, I was talking about zombies and the possibility of zombies. And then zombies ended up in the mainstream news from some sort of drug called bath salts.
mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't crazy about the zombies. And so, you know, I'm wondering what it is I'm crazy about, because thus far I've been batting 1,000.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, let's. I'm gonna throw it out here. There's a question out in the chat, and the question is, to you, Vaughn, who the hell are the trolls who call the government to try to destroy your family? That's horrible, she says. Which damn trolls were they?
All right. Well, one of them's name is Loves to Dance. That's her handle here on YouTube, Loves to Dance. She's a real bitch. She got drunk one time and left her kid unattended in the background. So she's also a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's George Bush Pimps, who is either homosexual or bisexual, not really sure which, but I guess he's butthurt because, you know, he has some perceived slight against me of some kind. And he called CPS. And then there's Sherry226. She called CPS. And she claimed in a Google Hangout that she didn't call, but it came to light that somebody found her old archived comments and found out that, yes, she did indeed call CPS.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, these are, that's just three. Mark Groening allegedly called. He's the guy that lives in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if Jay Stevio in the Netherlands called or not. Trying to remember if he said he called or not. But there was quite a few of them that actually called and tried to destroy my family. Yeah, for real.
Okay. Well, you know, that's kind of messed up if that's what they were trying to do. But to play devil's advocate here, what do they, you know, what one of them says to you, you know, Vaughn, I was just looking out for your children. I was just trying to make sure your children were okay.
Well, apparently nobody knows how to use Google, because if it had went on Google and Googled foster care,
Mm-hmm.
they would have gotten the truth about how foster care actually does more harm to children than good.
Mm-hmm.
There is case after case after case after case of CPS and foster care actually doing more harm to children
Mm-hmm.
than good. These are all public. They're all out there for the whole world to see.
Right.
And, you know, so apparently these trolls are not only a bunch of assholes, they're also stupid. They're too stupid to use Google.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's crazy. The next question came in, said, why would they try to destroy little children's lives?
Why would they try to destroy my children's lives? Because they can't. because they can't hurt me, so they hurt my children to get to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, that's terrible behavior. I mean, that's was the intention.
All because they didn't like my opinions on the internet, man. Isn't that a crock?
Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
one person by the name of Kenny KPZ made a YouTube video addressed to my wife, telling my wife to leave me. And I don't know this clown from Adam. I never met this guy before in my life.
Yeah.
But yet he gets on YouTube and makes a YouTube video telling my wife to leave me.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to destroy my marriage, man.
Right. Well, I'm glad she saw through that. So.
Here's the thing. That the trolls contacted her before she ever came up here. I don't know how they found out about her, but there was trolls contacted her down in Alabama and told her before she even come up here, said, yeah, VonHelton's going to chop you up and put you in a freezer, and he's a killer, he's a murderer, he's a rapist, a child molester, blah, 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 blah. You're in danger if you go up there to stay with him, and blah, 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 blah. And, of course, none of it's true.
Right.
Absolutely none of it's true. But they almost convinced her to stay in Alabama, but my wife is kind of a little bit bullheaded, and she basically told the trolls to kiss her ass, and she come up here anyway, and lo and behold, none of the things the trolls said about me were true. Wow, imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess kind of on that same length, you have been accused of all these things, and I have the question. You're accused of being a murderer, you're accused of being a child molester, you're accused of being a pedophile, you're accused of all these things, Ron. Why are you not in jail?
Well, that's a damn good question. Why am I not in jail? If I'm guilty of all that stuff, seems like I would be. But I do not have an ankle bracelet, nor am I in jail. So, obviously, I'm not guilty of anything. In fact, it turns out that I was the head juror down here for 2.5 years straight in a row.
Mm-hmm.
How you have a jury foreman, and I was jury foreman for 2.5 years in our court system down here. I'm a model citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have so much as a traffic ticket.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and it's I guess it's really a good thing that I am a good citizen, because, I guess if I'd have had any kind of record at all, I'd have probably never saw my kids again.
Right.
And I guess that's probably what the trolls were banking on. See, the trolls, I'm thinking that the trolls are probably thinking that I was just as evil as they are, because I can tell you right now, most of these trolls, me and my wife have done some digging on the internet and found out that most of these trolls have criminal records. And I guess they were thinking that, well, if I've got a criminal record, surely VonHelton does. Right. And come to find out, no, actually I don't have a criminal record. I don't have anything against me at all. No.
We're going to probably end this broadcast here in a second. I do have one more question. The question is, one of our friends here in the on the YouTube has said a couple occasions, and I want to have you answer this, that if someone disagrees with you, Von, you cut them off and you defriend them and you block them. So what is the truth about that?
That's actually ridiculous. In fact, when I was on Stickam, I had an atheist as my head mod. Disagreed with me on everything I talked about, but yet he was my head mod. And then I had, in Blog TV, I had mods that were atheists. I had mods that were, I even had a mod that was a Levian Satanist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, no, that's just not true at all. I've got many, many, many people that disagree with me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not blocked, they're not banned, they're not, you know, they're not talked about negatively or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
I guess it's the thing that, you know, if you show yourself to be an ass and everything, you treat somebody as an ass, you get blocked and everything. I would think, you know.
Yep, pretty much. I mean,
logical thing.
if you call CPS and try to destroy my family, or if you make a hate video telling my wife to leave me, or if you you know, try to destroy my computer business or my graphics arts business, then yeah, I'm going to block and ban you. Of course, duh.
Yeah.
My graphic arts did.
Right, of course.
I did graphics for websites a little bit before you
You
came
never
up
told
with.
me that.
Well, didn't need to know.
Oh, I did too.
Okay. Well, and I'll leave everybody with this. You know, whether you love him, you hate him, subscribe to his channel. I'm sure he will appreciate that. Watch his videos when he puts them up. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're out here. We're probably going to be doing a couple more interviews with some other people. I'm going to be trying to get kind of a guest list together. And if you have a suggestion of somebody you'd like to see me interview, and maybe we could talk to them, see if they come on the show or whatever. Appreciate them, all the input there. And of course, subscribe to my channel and share the video where you can, whatever. But until then, appreciate it. I'll see you on the other side.